back to Forbidden Knowledge News. I'm your host, Chris Mathieu. Today my guest is Mike Sygula. First, I have a couple of announcements. Check out our website, forbiddenknowledge.news. It's also the home of the Forbidden Knowledge Network. This is where you find some of your favorite podcasts from our community featured. Forbidden Knowledge News is always available on Rockfin, Odyssey, Rumble, and all podcast platforms. And our social media is Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We have 2 Facebook pages, 2 Instagrams. All those links are right in the description. Rockfin is where you get our premium content. You also get all the premium content from every creator on Rockfin, and that's only $10 a month. You can click the link in the description or go to rockfin.com/FKN+. That's ROKFIN.com/FKN+. Today I want to welcome Mike Sygula. He is founder of TruthTheory.com, an alternative media brand that has been around since 2010. He is also a mentor and spiritual development coach, helping his clients to align with their true purpose and their higher selves. Over the last 20 years, he has been on a journey of self-discovery and personal growth. His mission is to help humanity to understand the true nature as multidimensional beings, what reality really is, and expose how the control system operates on this planet. Mike, welcome. How you doing?
I'm not bad. Thank you, Chris. Thanks for inviting me on your show. I'm looking forward to this conversation because the range of subjects that you cover is very close to my heart. I'm familiar with quite a few guests you've had on your show as well. So I think it's going to be a good connection.
Definitely, man. I've been looking forward to it as well. You've been on your spiritual journey for a very long time now, at least longer than I have. And I love to get into that journey and your insights into what we perceive as reality and the hidden control systems that attempt to keep us from really reaching our true potential. But this is your first time on. Tell us a little bit about your background and what you're doing at TruthTheory.com.
Yeah, so I'm the guy behind a website called TruthTheory.com, and I've been running it for almost 12 years now, and we can say this is like independent alternative media. But due to censorship in the last couple of years, obviously the content is not as controversial as it could be or as it used to be. So especially, I'm sure you know what's going on, especially with the
I've had to do the same thing, especially with like YouTube and the mainstream platforms. I'm just putting clips up now of anything that's considered controversial or goes against the narrative.
Yeah, so if someone gonna go to Truth Theory, the content might not be exactly what we're gonna talk about today, because the news stories, obviously this gets heavily censored, but this website, I always try to create content that has at least some kind of positive or alternative perspective on the current world events, and it went through many stages of evolution. Same when I was going through evolution. So in the earlier years there was a lot of activist type of content, conspiracy type, natural health. Later on, maybe personal development, and in recent years, a little bit different. So this is website, and I also create my own content, which I've been only doing really like the videos and podcasts and things like that only in the last 2 years, 2.5, because before I was just busy running the site, doing editing and looking for content, but deep inside, I really wanted to also start teaching myself, and sharing my knowledge. So in the past, I would maybe write an article here and there, maybe like do like some random interviews. But last 2.5 years, I really started putting myself out there and creating a lot of materials and content. So that's one thing. And my awakening, let's say, took almost 20 years. Let's say it's been a gradual process with different developments over this period. And I grew up in Poland, first 20 years of my life, nothing really crazy when it gets to like these types of topics we are talking about. And then 2002, I slowly started getting interested in things like karma, for example. I was hanging out with a lot of guys who were doing some illegal things, like partying, drugs, whatever. And a lot of them were getting in trouble. And for me, it was pretty obvious how karma was at play. For example, I've had a lot of intuitive understandings of different topics. So, for example, tarot cards. For me, I just knew how tarot cards worked straight away without reading anything about it. It was just pretty obvious. So around this period from 2002, when I started becoming more and more interested in these types of fields and topics, I've noticed that, I have this intuitive understanding of many things, and others around me don't seem to understand things the same way. So I thought maybe this has to do with something, maybe from my past lives, maybe this is like my path, my mission. And that curiosity really propelled me to start investigating and learning, about reality and researching things. So from 2002, I slowly started researching. And it was, first couple of years was pretty slow. You just reading about Mayan calendar, whatever, Nostradamus, Bible code, many different fields, many different topics. When I got to London, because I left Poland in 2004, then I moved to the US. In 2005, I moved to England, to London, and I lived in London for more than 13 years. And London is a perfect place if you want to, study esoteric teachings and knowledge, because you can find everything in London, any kind of society, movement, whatever you want to study, there's plenty of opportunities. So this is what I've been doing. I've been going to different groups, New Age, Taoism, Buddhist, Wicca, Spiritists, and just exploring and investigating. And another thing that I think was maybe a little bit different to what many people do is that, I decided that I gotta have an open mind and study whatever gonna come, not only focus on one specific field or one area. So I was just, curious and wanted to know the truth. And then another very important aspect was that I decided, I'm gonna test things myself. So, let's say I was reading about out-of-body experiences and people who've had out-of-body experiences. And then I decided, let me give it a try. So, I would just research techniques, spend a couple of weeks working very hard, and finally having my first out-of-body experience. So this was my approach to many of these different topics and fields, that I actually really had a lot of self-discipline to just practice and try different rituals, different techniques, and different tools. And this really helped me to understand these fields from inside out, because, you can study all you want, you can get educated about a subject, but once you get to experience that, that's a whole different level of understanding. So this was my approach, especially last 15 years. And it has good and bad sides, because the good side about it is that, you get to understand things properly through your own experiences. So verifying if something is real or not. And that's always way better than just theoretical knowledge. But the problem with this approach is that sometimes if you don't know what you're doing, you can get yourself burned, let's say. You can put hand in fire. And that's what I've done many times as well, when I was experimenting with some, darker side of things, and then I would get consequences, let's say. So I also had many situations where I ended up in trouble because of this method, but it helped me to really understand many different fields, So, yeah.
Right on, man. Yeah, your journey is very similar to what I've gone through, and I understand that part of your journey was also psychedelics, which is also part of mine.
Yeah, psychedelics definitely helped me to really understand a lot of things. And I've had some of the biggest realizations on psychedelics, but I also had some of the worst experiences of my life. So I don't want to promote psychedelics as this beautiful tool that anyone can use and get awakened like that, because I've had some insanely negative experiences, including my most recent trip in May. I don't know if we're gonna get into this. It's a long story, but basically, I had an attempt of possession by very dark being, and I had to get out of it using the methods that I was familiar with, and I was able to do it. But that really showed me the dangers of psychedelics as well.